When I first started working on Frogs for the Cure, the program at TCU, the partnership with Komen, had been happening for a year. It had occurred once. And it was a celebration at a football game which involved selling merchandise to make money for Komen. And when I had a chance to think through a role that I could play, what I thought I could bring to the table was telling the story about cancer survivors, telling the story about people who were really impacted personally. And so I began that the first year that I was diagnosed. And I wanted to make this the cause, the idea of the halftime tribute bigger and more fun and more relatable to everybody on campus. So I decided the best plan was to create a dance. And I wanted to do scenes all over the campus, and I needed music to make that happen. And so my idea initially was to get a top 40 song and get permission to use it and have that as the backdrop for the dancing. But that didn't work as well as I had thought it was going to work. And so I was pursuing some local bands, trying to figure out who might be out there, and was stalled with one of them. And so I called Tim Halperin, and I thought perhaps he could help me cut through the chase to get to this other band.
When Ann Louden gave me a call, initially I didn't really know what to expect. I knew it was going to be something probably exciting because Ann always had these really great ideas and had the follow through with it. And she started asking me about different song choices for a video for the current year's Frogs for the Cure project.
And in the conversation we had, which was a great, friendly, wonderful conversation, it occurred to me I could ask him to help me with his music, which was, although absolutely incredible music, a little too slow for dancing. And so I mentioned that I'd love to have his music if we could speed it up, and he said to me, I don't know about that, but I could perhaps talk to my producer and I can get back to you tomorrow.
I knew that if I was going to be involved with a project that Ann was behind, especially Frogs for the Cure, I knew that it was going to be done right, and I also knew that this cause was particularly very important to Ann. And so I talked to my producer and we decided, why don't we do a song for this project? It would be a great thing to do for this community, be a great thing to do for breast cancer survivors and all the people that are trying to find a cure.
Well, nobody's ever written a song for anything that I cared about before. I don't know how you write a song. I tried once when I was a kid. It was terrible. So I didn't imagine how that was possible. And I said, well, what do you need to write a song? He said, well, I need some ideas of what you want. I need some ideas about music and tempo. I need some ideas about the content. I need some words. And so I said, okay, I can do that, but the time is really tight. Can you really do this? That was the problem. I'd never wanted anybody to write a song because we only had about 2 weeks most. Really, it was more like 10 days. And so he said, no problem, I can do that. I've got a show this weekend. You send me what you've got and we'll talk about it.
So I started thinking about writing this song, and I had received a list of words from breast cancer survivors when they thought about their battle with breast cancer. And so when I looked at this list of words and when I thought about interacting with breast cancer survivors, I knew exactly the tagline that I wanted: we fight back. I knew that right away, and I remember calling my producer Brian Keita and going, Brian, I know exactly what I want the hook to be: we fight back.
So I took Carrie, my daughter, with me to the studio. I went in, and the first intro to the song was so incredible. Just the sound of it, just the beat of it, just the feeling of it. I thought, at that moment, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna work. I can't believe it, it's gonna work. And so then I heard the rest of it, and I heard the lyrics, and the lyrics made me tear up, because the lyrics are about fighting a war, about what are you going to do if you don't try? What are you going to do if you don't fight back? Because there is no choice. And you have to have hope. Hope is the currency. Hope is what makes the chance for us to live through this cancer. How did he get that right? I don't understand that. I don't know how he knew. He took the words together and he created a story with the words. I didn't give him anything more than words. And so what came from that, from a 23-year-old, was way beyond his years. It was way beyond his ability. He's very talented, but it took him to a place that was a brand new place. And I think that was what touched me most.
And survivors tell me that this song has meaning for them. I've heard from breast cancer survivors who listen to the song as they go to chemo treatments. I've heard from a particular survivor who doesn't have any family that's there to support her on her journey, on her fight against breast cancer, and she said that this song brings her the hope she needs. And it makes me feel like I'm making an impact on this fight against cancer, and against breast cancer.
I think it's great that Tim has really gotten so heavily involved. Obviously, he's a Horned Frog graduate, and to come back and contribute and to leverage, you know, his visibility and his talents and his ability to care into, you know, an amazing song and an amazing performance is special. And I know everybody here in North Texas, and particularly at the TCU campus, is really getting behind him.
Well, it's really extraordinary, and obviously this is a young person who's capable of great empathy and care and concern for people. He seems to have really placed himself in the shoes of someone who's fighting breast cancer and is speaking for so many women and men in our community who have suffered from this disease and who are fighting back.
A lot of folks are very talented, but sometimes along the way they forget how to give back. Tim has done that. He's partnered with TCU, he's partnered with Komen, and you are about to see just one of the most incredible things you've ever seen unfold before your very eyes, and I'm really proud to be a part of it.
He created a song that inspires. You know, I don't believe that music can cure, but I believe music can heal. And his song has healed me, and his song has healed a lot of people who have relied on that melody and those words to get them through some pretty tough times.